But I actually want to touch on something really quickly. My good friend Evan McPhillips here, who happens to also be my co-host, he said something a couple of weeks back that kind of perked my ears up. He talked about a linebacker from the San
Mm.
Francisco 49ers who is entering into free agency. He's one of the better linebackers, I think, in the National Football League. Obviously, he's battling back from an Achilles injury and all this good stuff. So maybe he didn't put up the same gaudy numbers. But when I look at this guy, man, when I look at Dre Greenlaw, I say Dre Greenlaw is a guy that I could view as a perfect replacement for Germaine Pratt. The one thing about that's really, really cool about Logan Wilson can play every linebacker spot that you ask of him. I do not believe Akeem Davis-Gaither will find himself back here in Cincinnati. I don't expect him to be back here in Cincinnati. The linebacker unit will look different. I do expect us to potentially add another young piece at the linebacker spot, because I do expect Al Golden to have three traditional linebackers on the field quite a little more often than what Luan Romo had. I do believe that's what's going to be the case. That all being said, what does that look like? I do not know, but I think Dre Greenlaw is a perfect place to start. Evan, I want to let you touch on him a little bit more, though.
Yeah, coming off the injury, I think you're going to get a discount for him than
Yeah.
what you would expect. And he's 27 right now, going to be 28. But was a big part of San Francisco's kind of front seven there, and didn't get necessarily all the credit in the world with Fred Warner being back there and garnering so much praise and being so impressive. But Dre Greenlaw was definitely really impressive on his own right. The consistency is really what stands out. Every single year he graded over a 65, except for one in 7 years, going on 7 years. So that's really impressive. That's one thing that you lacked from Germaine Pratt, was that level of consistency. Quality coverage player. Just that was Germaine Pratt was kind of trending the wrong way in coverage. Yeah, he had the 2 interceptions the last couple of seasons, but in terms of his overall passer rating, the yards after catch allowed, the overall yards allowed in coverage, and again, the defense overall had its struggles. So I don't want to say like Germaine Pratt was the problem, but I do think there is opportunity to get more athletic there, get a little bit more of a coverage guy, a guy who can get sideline to sideline and add a little bit more athleticism. I think that's something that Dre Greenlaw could definitely help to produce a little bit. And like I said, man, just the consistency effort, that's the big factor for me. Like I will take guys who are above average every single week in, week out on the plays that matter and the plays that don't, versus, the guys who are just going to be, yeah, you can get the high end plays on, 2nd and 8 or, 1st and 10. And that sets you up really nice. But if you're lost or, doing the wrong things on a lot of the 3rd and shorts, especially in the goal area, like that can really hurt you. So like being able to be that consistent, not only as a run defender, but in coverage, I think that's really great. And then just a much better, just overall tackler in terms of missed tackles. Had 2 years of 10% or more. Everything else was 7% or lower. And that was just something that Germaine Pratt could not say. Had almost every single career year 10% or higher. So you're getting better, you're getting more athletic, you're getting better in coverage, you're getting better tackling, you're just getting more consistent down to down. And I think that's really, really valuable, especially when you just need more average level play from this defense to compensate while the offense kind of helps carry the weight a little bit.
Germaine Pratt and Logan Wilson were fun. It was a fun duo. So, they are very aware of how important that position is. And Al Golden, obviously the former linebackers coach, is very aware of how important the position is again. So I think it's going to be a position that they address in a bunch of different ways, but they're going to take very seriously because, again, Al Golden, former linebacker coach, he is going to be very adamant about adding quality.
And I think that Dre Greenlaw, when you look at the rest of these guys, I'm of the camp that I want somebody that's an improvement on the coverage side of things over a Germaine Pratt. I think Germaine Pratt gave some good things in the run game, but for me, when I'm looking at who I want to be the tag team partner for Logan Wilson, I want somebody who's going to be great in coverage. And when you look at the rest of these guys, it's really Dre Greenlaw's above the rest of these guys because you got Levante David, you got Eric Kendricks. These guys are all older guys. So I think that when you look at the replacement, it really is, you got to go out there, go get a top tier guy like Dre Greenlaw, or you better go out there and spend premium draft capital for a linebacker. And I think that that's a conversation we could have, right? Whether it's round 2 or round 3, we could look to have the Bengals, attack that position group.